Hi, it's Maxine from rootsnorthernireland.com, and this is video number 11 in this series, and trying to get you all excited about doing your roots, not your hair roots, your family roots. Anyway, okay, this wee video is going to be on an area of the Shankill called the Hammer. An early map in 1860 shows hardly any houses in that area, any streets north of Agnes Street. But by 1892, you can see the change to a growing community with a full network of streets and churches and houses and, of course, pubs. There are a few versions of how the Hammer got its name, and I'd love to hear your version. So if you have a wee version of how the Hammer got its name, please put it in the comment section below, because I'd love to hear it. Because see what the take is, see what the consensus is as to where the name actually came from. Whatever it was, the name stuck, and it's there today. It's still called the Hammer. I'm a Hammer girl. I was born, when I was born, my family lived on Conlon Street, and when my granda was born, his family lived on Arkwright Street, which is also the Hammer. So my family's been there for a wee while, The National School there, which is nicknamed the Hen House, seen 3 generations of my family go through the door. So it's a wee bit special to me. There's some famous people that came from the area. William Connor, he's a famous painter, and he came from Fortingale Street. Now, I will be doing a separate vlog on him later. I did a wee TikTok on him not long ago. He has his own wee corner on the Shankill, Connor's Corner. But yeah, his paintings are really, really cute, really quite nice. Another famous person that comes from the area of the Shankill of the Hammer is called Augustus Spence, and he was very active in the UVF and a member of the PUP, and later in his life was very, very keen on peace and reconciliation, and was involved in the 1994 ceasefire. Another wee gem that comes from the Hammer was Albert Hazlitt. Now, I had the privilege of meeting him one night over at the Spectrum Centre. That he was doing a reading. He was sitting there doing a reading, and what a laugh. He was on in years, and he still had a great sense of humour. His eyes were as bright as anything, and his wit was very sharp, very sharp-witted. Also from the Hammer were the Warnock brothers, Jimmy and Billy, who were boxers back in the 1930s, and they were quite successful in the boxing ring. Sadly, in the 1960s, early 70s, the area was redeveloped. Now, this redevelopment later became known as the rape and plunder of the Shankill Road, because they decimated the tight-knit communities. They took the streets, and they had a terrible effect on the community feel of the area. Now, the Hammer still exists today, and the people there are very proud of their area and of their roots. A great wee book that encompasses the history of the Hammer and tells tales of growing up there is Farewell to the Hammer, and that's it right there. And it's written by John Young Sims. If you can get a copy of it, give it a read. It's a great wee read. Now, my copy is very well read, and I say my copy, but I stole it from my mom years ago. So it's a great read, and I actually read it probably once a year, because I really, really like it. It just, every time I get it gets a wee lump in my throat, and it's really great. Okay, that's a great wee book. Now, the area is, as you can tell, is very special to me. But if you could write in the comments below some of your Hammer memories, I'd really appreciate it. Just in the wee comment section below, make much room as you want. I'd love to hear your memories, your Hammer memories. Also, if you're doing any family research in the area, of the Hammer. Put the names in. Put the names that you're researching in, so we never know, we can all connect. So, here's a few wee poems from wee Albert Hazlitt, because like I said, he was an absolute treat. All right, here it is. My old birthplace. The Hammer has changed an awful lot since the time that I lived there. There's not so many streets now, but it still has Hemsworth Square. When I lived there as a boy, the streets were cobblestoned. All the homes were rented, now some are privately owned. The houses have changed as well. Still, there's somebody's pride. They all have central heating, but the yards are all inside. There's a lot of empty spaces. Grass and bushes can be seen. Smokeless fuel must be used. Has the Hammer turned green? The atmosphere is not the same, the way it used to be, but no matter how they change it, the Hammer is still the same to me. That's one, and I'm going to read another one because, like I said, I think he's brilliant. So there are wee books that he wrote. I have a couple of them. It's called Enjoy the Crack, and it's all wee poems that he wrote. And I'll be using probably some of them in some of my other blogs because, like I said, I thought he was a real treat. Okay, here's Old Hammer Streets. Rows of kitchen houses, streets with names of fame, all built round a playground. The Hammer is its name. Youngsters came from near and far to play on that wee patch, and before it was a playground, they came to watch the match. For that same patch was once waste ground with goalposts to mark, where Crownville played their matches, and it was called Sledgehammer Park. So there's his version. That's why it's called the Hammer, just off Agnes Street, stretching over towards the lodge, where Ledbetter Street would meet. A couple of dozen streets in all, give or take a few, but there's not too many standing now. I'll try and name them all for you. Eaton, Welwyn, Hemsworth. This street was very small. Richmond, Belgrave, Downing Street, the best known of them all. Langford, Brownlow, Craven and Mansfield sets the pace. Woburn, Woodburn, Rumford, Malvern Street and Malvern Place. Clement, Hopetoun, Forster, Dunrave, behind the Riddle School. If you called the banjo Joseph Street, you were taken for a fool. If Fortingale, Bristol, Arkwright, Shaftesbury, Gentilt, Perth and Court Street, near the prison, you give it a wide berth. I can't forget Ariel Street on a cold wintry morn, especially number 6, the house where I was born. I'm normally a quiet chap, but I'll say these words aloud. I was brought up in the Hammer, and it makes me feel right proud. Again, write your comments down below, please. Thank you.